Yes, we know Bob Iger and his merry men of mischief are desperate to change the trajectory for Snow White and its possible box office flop of epic scale. But even we did not think they would go to this level, stooping down to perhaps the scandal of changing skin tones for their starlet, Rachel Zegler. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel that continues to not wash away the muck and yuck of Hollywood. No, we go right in it each and every day, telling you what's really going on. And today we have a scandal that involves perhaps whitewashing, but not of the typical variety. In this case, it's literally a Photoshop job that's being alleged against those who are marketing Snow White on international posters. We'll get to it. Folks, hang tight. Disney's got a history of it. Click the like button, and here we go. Take a look, folks. It's out of That Park Place, the website that if you're not yet bookmarked to it, well, you should be. It says Disney appears to change Rachel Zegler's skin color in Snow White international poster to make her look more pale. It is Beyond the Veil, and, well, let's just say it's a reverse John Boyega. If you're buying into it, we'll show it to you and see what you think. Disney's live-action Snow White has found itself in the spotlight once again after the release of a new international trailer and accompanying Snow White international poster. The promotional materials have raised eyebrows for seemingly adjusting Rachel Zegler's appearance, particularly through lighting effects that noticeably lighten her skin tone. Zegler, who is of Colombian and white heritage, appears in the Snow White poster with a much lighter complexion, more closely resembling the fair-skinned animated version of the iconic character. This has led to speculation that Disney may be modifying Zegler's appearance in marketing materials ahead of the film's scheduled release on March 21st, just about exactly a month from now. They've got to survive on Captain America Brave New World for a whole month more. Oh, good Lord. From the Dis Insider, a new international poster for Snow White released. Folks, take a look. See what you think. Does that appear to be Rachel Zegler, or has she been changed in ways we can only show you visually? Well, that's up for you to decide, but continue right along. It says, the situation carries a sense of irony. When Zegler was first cast as Snow White, she made headlines with a controversial statement insisting she would not bleach her skin for the role, even though there was no widespread call for such a change. Yes, I am playing Snow White. No, I'm not bleaching my skin for the role, she said. And remember, that was what put her in the controversy in the first place. Nobody cared about this. Nobody cared about this movie. Nobody cared about her, and then she came out and made that statement. Okay, so here's what Rachel Zegler looks like. Everybody knows her, right? Put the emoji out there. We've got an emoji on the channel for her. There's Rachel Zegler. Here's Rachel Zegler in the poster. Here's Rachel Zegler. Here's Rachel Zegler in the poster. But folks, I've got it even better. Would you like to see a time-lapse of this? Who would like to see a time-lapse? Culture, say you'd like to see a time-lapse.
Oh, my.
I would like to see a time-lapse.
All right, folks. From left to right, we've got the changing posters. The one on the far left you can see looks like Zegler. And then over time, it just kind of seems like things have changed. Now, I'm going to defend Disney a little bit. But first, before I do, let me go to the panel and see, is this much to do about nothing, or is this a something? What do you think?
I feel like they're trying to get more of it's trying to look like the animation. Like if I'm like a normie looking at this for the first time, I'm gonna look at that poster. If you don't know that they, change people on posters, I would look at that and think that it looks just like, it really is 1-to-1 live action adaptation. That's what I would think it's going for.
That's a good point. It looks more like a Caucasian person with a sepia, well, not sepia, a slight orange tinge on the filter there, more than it looks like a Colombian person being lightened here. Also pointing out there's more of a blue on the left-hand side. They're doing that teal and orange thing, the complementary colors thing here, where they have the teal overlay or the blue overlay on Gal Gadot. So it actually turns out that Gal Gadot ends up looking darker than Rachel Zegler in the poster, which I find that interesting.
Guys, I'm going to take a surprising position here, then I want to hear Vash's thoughts. I don't think this one's intentional. I think they're aiming to cartoonize her because it's the cartoonification of Zegler. It's not any better, I suppose, right? So they're trying to make her be more palatable because she's so unlikable, and so they're turning her into a cartoon instead of who she really is. Like they're done with Zegler as an actress. Now they're going for the iconography, right? They want you to remember back to the 1930s Snow White. They're done with Zegler. Like they're not even putting her in trailers anymore. They might do the next Snow White trailer that comes out or commercial might not even have Zegler in it. It'll just have CGI rabbits and dwarves running around. Vash, am I wrong? Do you think that Disney is actually doing this in sort of a malicious marketing way?
Oh man, malicious is. I think that's definitely something right there. They understand they have to appeal to an international audience, so they do take liberties with how this stuff looks. If we look here, because we were trying to determine ourselves, like, is there really something going on? I do think the coloring has something to do with this for sure, Jonas. But Gal Gadot is definitely appears much darker in this image, and we know when comparing the both of them that their complexions are relatively the same. So there is definitely some type of, I don't know, photoshopping going on here. Not quite sure what it is or why it is, but I think for an international audience, like Wizard was saying, if you're just a normie looking at this and you want a facsimile of what may have been produced back in 1937, for example, I can definitely see why they would take this approach. And again, here's the thing. I mean, Disney virtue signals all the time. I mean, even the casting of Rachel Zegler was somewhat a virtue signal, right? When it was when the casting decision was actually made. It's just profoundly interesting that yes, I think Latino Slant actually commented on That Bark Place about this too, about how whitewashing has been done before with these posters in years gone by, and that's going back to the golden age and everything like that. But never before have we had a company virtue signal as much as Disney has. It's great if they have, and then not stay consistent with that philosophy internationally. And this is an international trailer, and so I do think something is going on here. Malicious, not quite sure.
All right. There's something I really have to throw in here. Snow White is very popular in China as far as Disney properties go. I'm not trying to go too academic here, but there are multiple papers, academic papers that have studied the phenomenon of Snow White in China. This one right here called The Indigenization of Disney Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs in China, from Snow Sister, Dolly Girl to Chinese Snow White in 1940 and Princess Iron Fan 1941. Just from the abstract, which is the part at the beginning where they kind of talk about what they're going to be talking about. Walt Disney's first animated feature film, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, was released in Shanghai in June of 1938. Thanks to localized advertising and promotional strategies, it was a massive box office success in China, was watched by more than 400,000 people, and made more than 7 million RMB across the country. When you look at someone like Snow White, and who's got the frame here? This is that one on the right there. Can read as Chinese, can look Chinese to a Chinese audience. So when they were building Shanghai Disney, they were very happy to make Snow White one of the central characters of Storybook Castle, because when you have a lighter-skinned, darker-haired character in China that can read as a Chinese person, in the same way that some anime characters that read as Japanese to the Japanese audience read as white to a white audience, not necessarily on purpose, but they're happy to pick up that low-hanging self-seeing fruit of the audience here. So I think that they're more than aware that Snow White as being Snow White in skin is probably something that they're hoping to appeal to the Chinese audience here. I don't know that I can say that this is intentional. I do think that they are aware of it, though.
They have a history of doing stuff like this, especially to appeal directly to a Chinese audience. So if you understand that context, Jonas, which I'm so glad you brought that up, because even I didn't recognize that before. If you know that context going into it, and you want to maximize the amount of appeal to a Chinese audience in order to get this over the finish line, which we've talked about box office numbers before, then I could definitely see them doing some modification in order to elicit that type of response that you're looking for.
So you're talking about the potential lightening, right, of the skin tone to try to get this to do well international offices. Now, we talked about this is on track to score something like $60 million in its opening weekend domestically, which is awful. And that might create a sense of desperation. I want to go, though, quickly through the history of Disney posters so folks can see why people would say, well, this might be true. Folks, take a look at this. This is what they did to Halle Bailey for The Little Mermaid in China.
You almost said Halle Berry, didn't you?
I almost did. They turned her into a blue fish. Red fish, no, blue fish. That's all she is. What did they do to John Boyega? Well, take a look at the China poster. He's practically hidden versus the Western one. And let's not forget what they did with Black Panther, who probably isn't even called Black Panther. He might be called Chinese Panther. That's what they did to him in the poster for China. So they have a history of this. So when we look and we say, well, what's going on with the Snow White posters? The reason that the scandal exists and people are contemplating it is because of the history that exists. Culture, I know you've got to head on out, but before you do, give us your thoughts on whether or not this is a conscientious decision that Disney is making.
I honestly, I just think they're trying to make the most money possible in every market that they pander to, and the pander force is strong with Disney. The pander thread, whatever you want to call it, the magic pander sauce. I would say. Yeah. Well, they're just going out of their way to make sure that they can have the broadest possible appeal. So they're going to make everything look as most aesthetically pleasing to every market but the U.S.
All right. Real life fake wizard, though. I think you had one more thought on the Snow White stuff. You were getting ready to weigh in. If not, it's okay to say so. But if you had another thought, please drop it right now.
I do. I keep looking at, there's the promotional picture where she's in the woods of Rachel Zegler. If you look at these two pictures, it doesn't look like her. If you pull up that poster, if you don't know who that is, I don't think it looks like her. It looks very airbrushed. It looks, and maybe I'm crazy because I've been staring at it this whole time, but I don't think it looks like her. And I think that's what they were going for. Look at the middle picture versus the one on the right.
No, I agree with you. I don't think it's malicious. I think they're literally trying to turn her into a cartoon. That's what I think. I think it's, well, how can we make this look most like the cartoon?
That's consistent with the current marketing, by the way, that's coming out, especially the one that came out today that mostly features the evil queen as opposed to Snow White, which is hilarious. It seems like Rachel Zegler is the worst talking point for this film, despite the dwarfs, which just don't look right.
They're creepy, all right. They're uncanny creepy. You know, we really hope that you felt this video was satisfactual. We know we had an actual good time participating and communicating with each and every one of you out there listening. It is a great honor. It is a great pleasure, even a responsibility to do this on a daily basis. You give us the dream job we love doing, and for that we can never say thank you enough. There's only one small favor we ask beyond what has already been done, and that is, folks, consider it. That is clicking the like button. Share, subscribe, click it, stick it to those pesky algorithms. It's the notification bell. And drop a comment right on down below. Let us know your thoughts, because your thoughts do indeed matter, no matter what the mainstream media would otherwise say. Folks, as we say every single time we end these videos, because we mean it, keep learning, keep growing, and keep having fun.
Jump into the water. Why listen to music made by people and companies who really don't like you? Check out Vacation Radio today and prepare for all new content made by the people behind the WDW Pro Channel. It's the place you need for all the music. That should be fun. Hundreds of songs, every genre you can imagine. Listen live on YouTube and enjoy a set list that's always sunny. It's Vacation Radio. What are you waiting for? Every WDW Pro video has a link to Vacation Radio in the video description. Try it out and subscribe today.